Hello, family, and welcome to another episode of Role Model Makers Experts Cafe. I'm your host, Dr. L, the Parent Whisperer. And today with me, I have an amazing human being, Miss Vera Thomas. I hope I said that right. Correct, Vera?
You did.
Uh,
Yes, you did.
she's been in our community for a while. I actually have seen some footage of her working with children, and I got goosebumps. So you guys are in for a treat. Tune in. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Vera, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. Vera, what are we talking about today? And tell us a little bit more about yourself as well.
Hi, Dr. L. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Yes, I instill greatness in children and their parents. I want kids to understand their power and their greatness within themselves. And so I offer programs that are in the schools, but I also work with families and as a group in my coaching area to help build that confidence. Oftentimes, there are parenting styles that may be impacting on our kids. So I talk about various parenting styles and also our attitudes and behaviors that we bring into parenting that may be our own unresolved issues and our own baggage, and it's impacting on our children. So I work with parents on those things and I help kids build that confidence, knowing
So,
that, all right.
guys, I told you we're gonna just hit it and go off of like 100 miles an hour. So, Vera, we got to stop because this is like short, and I don't want our audience members to get overwhelmed. So,
Okay.
Vera, how did you get involved doing this stuff in the first place? Tell me a little bit more about that.
I grew up with no confidence, no self esteem. I was bullied and ridiculed and made fun of and told things like, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're fat, you're ugly, you're nothing, you'll never be anything, and told that by adults. And I don't want any child to ever feel like I felt hearing those things. And I don't want parents to not be so equipped that they are lashing out at their kids, yelling at their kids, and treating their kids in such a way that traumatizes them. And so that's why I do what I do.
I love it. Vera, one of the things that you see in the world is oppression, right? And there's intentional oppression and then there is unintentional oppression. So one of the things that happens that I have seen is that whenever you have this situation where two human beings are interacting with each other and they're not at the same level, be it education, be it power, be it development, be it social, then if you're not careful, then you can have even unintentional oppression, even though you mean the best thing. And for parents, we all want our children to really thrive and the potential for our children to be realized in the world to its fullest potential, right? But sometimes, because of our upbringing, because of what has happened, whatever the reason may be, despite the intention, we might end up regurgitating things that have been passed down to us. And
Yes.
the end result is we perpetuate the problems down humanity's history. So
Yes.
it's a really important thing what you're describing because not only affects us in our personal life and family life, but it actually plays on the global stage as well. These people become community leaders and country leaders, and they start having dialogue same way with
Yes.
people that are
Yes.
affecting millions of lives elsewhere. So really, really
Yes.
important. So thank
Yes.
you for what you do. Now, let's bring it back from the big picture to the small at home picture. What do you usually see parents struggle with? Like, what are some of the consequences, some of the issues that parents should be aware of, watch out for, not only in themselves, but also as signs within their children? Because we're all observing and watching our kids very carefully, right? Like, what are some of the red flags that, oh, maybe they've been subjected to bullying or whatever it happens to be? Or maybe there needs to be a course correction on our relationship in parenting and parent-child relationship.
A couple of things. One of the things I really want to talk about is yelling and the impact that yelling has on a child. And I want parents to think about, how do you feel when someone yells at you? And then amplify that in a child. It can cause all kinds of issues. It can traumatize a child. Now, there are different types of yelling. The yelling that I'm talking about is the type of yelling where you're yelling out of frustration, anger, or just being just upset. When you're that way and you're yelling at your children, it can traumatize them. It can cause them to have depression, headaches, stomach aches, panic attacks, and all those kinds of things as a result of yelling at them. And
Right.
yelling is also a form of bullying.
Right.
So I want parents to understand the impact that they can have. And come on, we can tell when we're getting ready to get riled up. So what we need to do is start taking breaths, breathe. When you see that you're getting upset with your child to the point where you're getting ready to yell at them, breathe. Take some time to breathe. And you might want to set the situation aside and say to the child, look, go to your room. I need a timeout. You need a timeout, and let's come back
So
and
I was
talk
going to actually
about this.
mention about that because from a neurologic perspective, I know that children's brains are not fully developed. They are also not accustomed to the world, the way this universe operates, right? So they are trying to figure things out, the rules, the do's and the don'ts, and how this world functions and what's their relationship and their place in this world. And naturally, the only tool they have is trial and error. And while we grow up within our academia, whatever, in society, and we punish mistakes in a natural setting, in the evolutionary setting, mistakes are a way for creatures to learn. And it's part of the process. Now, some mistakes, if they're too great, might end up affecting the survival of the children, which is why we need to be, making sure that they're safe. But
Yes,
beyond ensuring their safety, the yelling causes the kids to feel anxious with what you
yes,
were saying, because they don't know what they did wrong. And they're trying to get that message from you. But with the yelling, they feel threatened
yes,
and they forget to get the message of what they did wrong. And instead, they're fearing for their survival, which means that now the part that's responsible for focus and critical thinking, all of those are shut down. So
yes.
your message is not getting across, anyways.
Yes.
Oh,
And in addition to that, I had a teacher tell me I can tell the difference between a child that comes from an environment where there's a lot of yelling and an environment where it's not so much. And
mm,
also, studies showing, I'm sure you're aware, that even the brain is developed differently
right,
from when a child is yelled at on a consistent base.
right.
So, parents, just calm yourself. And rather than yell at your child, question. When you see something that you don't agree with, ask, what made you do this? Help me understand your process. Can you explain to me? And then that way, the child is understanding that you don't necessarily agree with what they did, but you're not coming at them from a critical perspective, but from a perspective of trying to understand and then to help them understand that there's a better way.
I love how you're pointing this out as a it's not a black and white thing. That sometimes you're like, hey, I'm upset. I can't deal with your issue right now. Go to your room until we can have a real conversation. So being able to do that, taking a breath and doing that is huge right there. And it also is role modeling and teaching them that, hey, when you're upset, you don't lash out. This is the proper way of handling it, right?
Yeah.
So that's one part. The other part is that when you go to address it with the questions you just mentioned, you're not saying that, well, I know it all. And I know that you did this thing that is wrong, and this is the way it's supposed to be. That's right. It's you trying to be a team member and trying to say, all right, let's walk through this together. Why did you do this? What would have been the consequences? What do you think was going to happen? And then that is the questioning they need to develop their internal dialogue to
Yeah.
become critical thinkers, right? So
Yes.
I love that approach, and that's what I saw when I saw those videos, basically, and how you were doing, and the kids were engaged as opposed to frightened and terrified. So
Yes.
so that's
Yeah.
really cool. There are, I know our time is short, but what would be the one tip that you would give parents? That's that would be the thing that they could take away from this short video that they could implement and start benefiting their family.
Kids need to be listened to. So I want to encourage parents rather than shut your child down when a situation occurs, Listen to them. Children want to be listened to and they want to feel valued. And again, rather than yelling, calm yourself and start asking questions.
Okay. So on that note, which I love, what is something that the parents need to look out for that indicates that the kids feel unheard?
When your child has gone from being outgoing and expressive, and now they're reticent or they're going into their rooms and they're spending all their time on the technology, you might want to find out what's going on with them. When they become more quiet or more nervous, or when they flint, when they do one of these numbers, when you approach them, you might want to sit down and talk with them and talk with them. Ask if they're not telling you, then start asking questions, open-ended questions, so that they have to give you a response other than yes or no. So any of those things, a child becoming more quiet, you see the behaviors changing, or their behaviors are getting, they're doing things that are inappropriate or saying things that are inappropriate or treating people differently than what they were treating them in the past. You might want to look and see what's going on with that child.
Mm, I love that. Everything you say, I have like more questions. It's such a fascinating subject. So I'm going to ask audience members to stay tuned when we talk about how people can connect with you. But let's finish on a positive note. As far as, do you have a story of a child that you encountered or worked with, and the results that they received basically as a result?
Yes, I have several, but this one in particular, I had a sister and brother. Their mother contracted with me to help build their confidence and self-esteem. The little boy has a speech impediment. However, he wants to be a speaker. And so, as a result of us working and building this confidence and all this stuff, he had the confidence, enough confidence to actually do a testimonial video for me.
Wow.
And he still has the speech impediment. However, the confidence level is there. You can see and he even told me in one of our sessions, because I had him do like a little speech presentation, and he even said, it's like, it's your mindset, your mindset.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, confidence takes you far. It's like the first ingredient to success. I love it. Vera, how can people find out more about you and connect with you?
They can reach me at B as in boy, IT as in Tom, .ly/ Vera, and that's V as in Victor, E as in Edward, R as in Robert, A as in Apple, Thomas, T as in Tom, H as in Harry, O as in Oscar, M as in Michael, A as in Apple, S as in Sam.com.
All right. Awesome. Well, for those of you who are multitasking and driving, I'm actually going to go ahead and put that in the description box. So make sure you come back and check it. For the viewers that are on the computer, just go ahead and open the description box, click on that link. I want you guys to do this and take action for two reasons. Number one is we need to role model the behavior that it is okay to reach out for help, that we don't have all the answers, and there are well-intended people who want to make this world a better place, and it's okay to reach out to them. And the second one is that I want to make sure that you guys don't have everything on your plate when it comes to parenting. You don't have to have all the answers, and you don't have to do all the parenting yourself. Delegate some of this task, free up your time, enjoy the life, and enjoy the process of parenting as well. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you click subscribe and connect with us in the channel so you get notified of all the experts that come here sharing their expertise and the gifts. Vera has a whole bunch of gifts and stuff that she also has put into that link, as far as I know. So make sure that you check it out and connect with her as well. And Vera, before we finish, any final words for our audience members?
I just want to say to parents, be encouraged and don't beat yourself up if you don't feel, you hear things that we say and you think, I'm not doing that, or I am doing that. Don't beat yourself up, because when we know better, we do better. And sometimes we just don't know. And so don't beat yourself up. That's what I want to encourage. And continue to learn, continue to grow. We're either green and growing or ripe and rotten. So choose to be green and growing.
Well said. Beautiful. Vera, I love it. I really enjoyed this session. Thank you for being here today. And audience members, thank you for joining us. Until next time. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.